and welcome to another edition of Schiffbauer Over Rocks. Might look a little sweaty. I just ran over from lunch. Had to change my shirt. I got it's the cedar plank, and I got this red dressing all over me. But I couldn't be late to have my brother on and Barber, Nathan Fleming, aka Best Barber 717, aka Champagne Tio, aka Passport Poppy, aka Timothy the Third, aka whatever you want to insert.
Your school board's worst nightmare.
Ooh! If you haven't seen the local press, we're going to put a little blurb. Marty's going to do some post-production, put the article with him and his daughters. That's a very good picture. Honestly, if you didn't do barber work, you probably should have been in PR. You probably still could.
Right.
I was very impressed in terms of you doing that on a grassroots angle, brother.
Thank you.
So more than anything, I know your return. You came on this show a couple years ago in its infancy in a former life, but you're still doing the barbering full time. You're working with your cousin, managing him from a rap career perspective.
Absolutely.
Before we dive into the whole barber life and how you got there, let's talk about what's your perspective on that little venture in terms of managing a aspiring rapper.
When it comes to music overall, there got to be a good sense of relationship between the artist and manager, that's where I was at. Things got to be cohesive. You got to identify the goals early on, as well as be strategic as far as who you incorporate into your network. Obviously, you were on for some of the marketing purposes,
doing some consulting.
Yeah. As well as some of the visuals. You were there in the club with us. So
Shout out Stephen Heinel.
Yeah,
or Heinel. I always get his last name wrong.
I think it's Hennel.
Hennel. Yeah, I'm terrible with last names. So Steven's a great guy, though.
Shout out to Steven, though. He doing big things. And as well as the budget. The biggest thing is that's part of it also is the budget. A lot of people, they go into it blinded. They say they want this, but then when you start talking about all the technical things behind the scenes that people don't usually think about, how much money do you have for, a show, or how much money do you have for, wardrobe or marketing or social media. People aren't thinking about those things. So it all starts there.
Oh, excuse me. God damn, these cigars are killing me. It's been a minute. But I just want to ask from a perspective standpoint, looking back on it, I know you guys had a great run working with your cousin for about a year. I just know for personal reasons, he just kind of put pause on it, which was fine. It's not like you guys failed or anything. You just stopped. What would you do differently, looking back on it, if you picked that up with him or another artist? Any recommendations for folks out there who are, looking at a career in independent music?
One of the biggest things that I feel like we would have done slightly differently was, granted, we didn't put too much of our eggs in this basket. We didn't focus on the local circuit too often. But there was times where there was opportunities where there might have been something local that, it might have been important to him at that time to partake and participate. Because he's amongst his peers, but you're only within a 5-mile radius here in York City, so I think I'll probably completely take off.
More of a grassroots approach, position that artist as the local York City artist.
Well, I would completely go away from being condensed to York City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's more opportunity. There's of course opportunity in being hyper local, but in terms of actually generating a career and getting revenue from music, you got to go outside the market.
Right. Like I was saying, there was a couple times where we might have had an opportunity to go somewhere, let's say DC, and then there
Club
might
list, shout out.
Yeah, and there might have been
R.I.P. Dolph.
Something might have been going on.
I was there to
here.
witness it.
And we chose to stay based on his preference. We chose to stay.
Gotcha.
Locally.
Okay.
So I would take that off the table.
What do you think about the local scene now?
The local scene now, in my opinion, I feel like it hasn't grown much from where we were at. COVID kind of slowed things up, but I really don't feel like COVID is a major excuse for a lot of local people, only because they're facts are facts. They're not doing enough. And I still feel like when we walked away in 2019, it's still in the same place.
I commend you because that's how we initially got to really know one another before you became my barber. It's just that engagement. And I couldn't believe this man, people. His time management skills are impeccable. Probably one of the best of any professional I've come across, to be honest with you.
I try.
I haven't told you that, but like this man would call me. He's got a couple kids. He's now his wife.
Yep.
Full-time business, and he was, helping out his cousin. He's like on it in terms of deliverables and feedback. I was extremely impressed in terms of how you do that. Any aspiring entrepreneur out there, any thoughts on time management? How to go about it?
You got to have all your ducks in a row. Everything literally has to be critical because, time is money. When you're dealing with people in business, you don't want to, like, sometimes things may overlap, but you don't want it to overlap to where it's like beyond 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be where it's like, they're waiting on you. You want to be waiting on them.
Correct. Where you kind of have like control that frame.
Right.
In essence,
Right.
Like, where I'm leading you in a good way.
Yeah. So like just being, time oriented, being punctual, be over the top as far as communication. You can never communicate too much.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's people like, oh, well, like you might be bothered. No, you're not. At least touch base, unless they are very specific where like, hey, I only want check-ins this amount of times per month or per quarter. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I mean, from being a client of yours from like a hair service standpoint, and I got to say real quick, like my shit looks disheveled. He was on his honeymoon. I had to reschedule on my part. This shit doesn't look like this. This shit looks clean. The moms are liking my photos on Facebook and commenting all the time because of this man right here.
Yes, sir.
Himothy. Marty, get zoom in on his chain right now.
I mean,
we need that for clips. B-roll.
You don't treat yourself like a big deal, nobody will. So I'm him. Listen, man. Let y'all know what it is.
Best Barber 717. But I want to get into that. You have your own business now. I don't think I ever asked you. What provoked you in terms of like wanting to pursue cutting hair?
I would say 3 big things is I got a bad haircut.
Okay.
That was one.
You're like, damn, this sucks.
Yes, it was trash, and I realized, I got some of the same or similar equipment at home. If I'm going to get a bad haircut, I'm going to get my bad. That thing's strong.
Strong? Yeah. We ain't smoking cushion here. It's that 12-year-old Dominican tobacco at Casta Cigars.
It's ain't closed, but that's a good cigar. But so I'd say overall, the bad haircut experience. I told myself if I'm going to have a bad haircut, I'm gonna give myself the bad haircut. So I started there, as well as the need to make money. I was broke.
Yeah.
I quit my job. I was running short on savings, and I felt like I had a calling. Like being in a factory job just wasn't. It wasn't for me. Like I felt like I was like a robot. I just felt like this again. You know what I mean? So getting into that flow of things, I felt like this could work for me. So I put everything into it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that perspective where like your back was against the wall, and you like, I'm going to pursue this. Did you know you were going to succeed at a time, or were you willing to like do what it takes, or did you have a fear where it could fail?
No. I had no fears that it could fail. I knew it was going to be tough because it was. But I genuinely feel like that's part of the journey. It was a process, like like with anything. I felt like it was a process, and I was willing to like work through it. So, perseverance, just pushing through everything.
I mean, I've been getting my hair done by you a couple years now. I don't know when that lines up timeline-wise with you as a business owner, as a barber. I know you worked for at least a shop or two, correct, beforehand?
2.
Yep. Okay, so 1 or 2. I was almost on the money on that one with my background reporting. But it's cool because, I mean, of course, I'm a service provider as well. How you change your service over the years. To me, it's improved immensely. And I think you've done a very good job in educating your client base, customer base,
right,
and also the general public of what those changes are gradually. Where it's not necessarily it was like a hard push because there's a lot of risk in doing that. But like you've slowly implemented things in terms of like changing locations, adding additional services, adding expectations tactfully. I mean, you would divulge a little bit more about that. I've been extremely impressed. I have not seen, and even like your salons, they don't necessarily do that in the fashion that you have. Of course, you have a little more control with your messaging. It's up to you at the end of the day to do it, but you've done it in a really like cohesive fashion in terms of rolling it out, in my opinion.
I would say like in that regards, for me, it was more or less like, the need for growth. Like, it has to start somewhere. So when you identify that early, that doesn't catch on the mic, does it?
Yeah, it might a little bit, but we're all right.
All right, so I'll say that.
We're downtown York City. Things get crazy down here.
So I feel like the need for growth, like, you got to identify it early, but you also got to be tactful as far as like how you're going to make those changes. With change, obviously there's an elevation in price. So
correct.
When you make a big jump from $5 to $10 or a $15 increment, and there's no difference in service, people are they're gonna be a little bit more guarded.
There's apprehension to some extent,
right?
Even if the service is justifiable for the increase, I feel like you almost still need a reason why it's occurring.
Absolutely, it's the same thing like when you rent. Like, for example, most rental companies, for example, they might go up $100 to $200 on rent. So you might be paying $1,200 this year. Next year might be $1,300. We all complain about that. Like, nothing's different. The bathroom's not different. The walls are still the same.
We accept it as consumers and like rentees, essentially.
And it's either you stay or you find somewhere else that's either a little lower or about what you were used to already paying for that last year. But it's an inconvenience. So what I did is identifying things like that. I'm like, all right, what can I do that's different where I don't have that pushback or I don't have that resistance or people don't want to take, gamble and go elsewhere. I got to make small changes.
Correct. Okay.
So something as simple as maybe like a hot towel.
Which just seems so small, but it's so extra in the grand scheme of things.
It could be a hot towel. It might be a complimentary beverage,
which I love personally because that's how I am.
Right. And
Marty, you might have to put it in post-production. His bar would rival some like clubs that he has available to him in his barber shop.
Hey, I think it does. As far as the local market, I feel like I got to be
nutty. Like the options, like you got. It's just like he's like, well, you get a drink, and then the memberships. It's an added perk too. We'll get into that. But it's really cool. I take advantage of it now and again.
Right.
Oh, you were talking about this in general, just like leveling up those services. So I know we just touched on like the memberships. What made you talk a little bit more about it? Like, what you have a membership now with your barbershop that's different than a regular customer. I know you don't accept walk-ins. Like, someone can schedule an appointment with you. They reach out, you put them on the schedule, they come in. But you've evolved your standard service to where now you have a membership tier if you choose to opt in. Almost like certain cigar lounges where they have memberships. It's very similar, actually, where like you get added perks, but it's justifiable based on the price point.
Right.
Divulge on that.
So, in lieu of what you said about the walk-in thing, I'm not against walk-ins.
Okay.
I'm not against walk-ins. However, for my business, I'm against walk-ins because I pride myself on exclusivity. It's like a doctor's office. You don't want just some random person walking in off the street while you're, getting changed for a physical exam. So
you want to have it scheduled where it's conscientious to other people who've already scheduled.
Absolutely.
Where there's intent, where I'm seeing you for X reason.
Yeah, in the walk-ins, sometimes they disturb the flow.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Like, we're all in,
I mean, I've seen it where like one or two cats have walked in over the years.
Yeah, they walk in, they're like, "Hey, am I next?" And I'm like, "Relax."
And you handle it well. You're like, "I can cut you, but I can cut you here." And they're like, "What?" We're like, "No, I have this," and they have one or two immediately coming in with the next.
And they don't understand that
half-hour
concept.
window.
When people are coming every 20, 30 minutes, and I know my schedule is like booked in and booked out. They walk in, they're like, "Can I get in right now?" And I'm like, "Gotta slow down, young grasshopper. That's not how it works."
You handle it well though.
Right. Like, I try. It's a lot of pressure sometimes, but
because some people are irrational. They think like, "Oh no, I can get walking down the street." This is not walking down the street.
Yeah, this ain't cheeseburgers. Like, you can't have it your way.
Dude, it's so funny you said that. I have used that in conversations before. This ain't Burger King. And you, unfortunately, from a client service standpoint, even if it's a client or a prospect, sometimes you got to lay down the law in terms of framing where like you can't have it your way. Like, you can have it your way to an extent if you buy into the process. And you get the experience that you pay for and invest in.
Right. So I know you had said about the membership thing, so I'm actually gonna pull this up.
Pull it up because it's.
I want to read some of this, some of the good stuff.
It's worth it for me, and like I did it from a sales angle. Like, tell me about it, because I'm like, I'm not 100% sold until he tells me. Like, he can sell me, but like, I want to know because I'm a member. You can pull it up right now.
Here we go. So within the confines of what I got going on with my business, you got a regular service, which is regular price, which come with regular things that are to be expected for every painter that comes through the door. Then you got memberships. So the membership includes high speed internet. You get a separate door pass for the door, because nothing's like an open door policy in my shop. So with the open door pass, basically you can use your phone actually to press yourself in.
I have an app myself.
Or you can use your own unique code on the door pad. I'm not going to disclose the code, but members have their own code. You get a birthday deal, which is either half off an advanced service, which is basically an advanced facial. You get my bad.
What were we getting?
So with the facial, you get it's the
Pause.
cigar.
I'll be like Cameron. Pause. Did you just say that?
So with the facial, you're getting with the facial, you're getting advanced service. So it comes with more than just exfoliating and deep cleansing. You're getting a whole spa experience for $32, or you can opt to get just a regular free haircut. You get discounts on additional services that are bundled with your appointment. You also get your self-serve option at the bar, which is 3 shots, 3 beers, or you can mix and match.
Which is insane.
Gotta get that out. Hold on. Premium liquor, as Paul can tell you guys. I got a little bit of everything. I got
you got stuff that's not
Azul. I got
stuff that you can't get in the United States.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
Hennessy XO. I got pure white Hennessy. The list can go on. I got a little bit of everything.
It's immaculate.
So you
make your nightclub owner shaking little boots.
3 shots, 3 beers, or you can mix and match. That's a lot of liquor. That's a lot of alcohol. You get priority scheduling. Basically, anybody that's inquiring for an appointment, members get first dibs on any service, any times that are available. You get fixed rates on holidays, because I do, like we discussed last night, I do a thing called dynamic pricing, so that there's an influx on price points based on demands throughout different seasons.
And that's completely fair. I feel like even in your industry, because there's an excessive need around the holidays. Mm-hmm. People who, even if you get a cut semi-frequently, it's just like all of a sudden you want a cut in a short-term period or right around a holiday period. Mm-hmm. And I think that's completely justifiable as a service provider from your end. The demand's higher.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't understand it. They feel like it's not fair. And
what are the reasons why they think it's not fair?
Because they feel like, the haircut, this is what they're going off. They think the haircut itself is not different. But a hotel room is not different throughout the week. But then on the weekend, it's a different price point based on the demand for those rooms.
That's an amazing analogy.
Right.
I wanted you to finish that. I've never even thought about it like that.
So that's the reason why, because it's a lot of push and pull in this industry where it's like I'm only one person. I can only service a set amount of people in
a certain period of time, because you.
Right.
Like, I know you have the additional share. You've been thinking about potentially, like, I could have someone else here, but, like, it's your game. It's your business. It's your baby. Mm-hmm. It's your time. So it's just like, in terms of value pricing, I think it's completely justifiable. I've toyed around, too, where, like, I have my normal engagements, but if someone in an emergency, almost have an emergency billing or like policy that would address that dynamic angle that you're talking about.
Yep.
I haven't done it yet, but I've been thinking about it.
So with that being said, within dynamic pricing, if my standard haircut is about $30 to $35 on any given day, if you come in, Christmas Eve, it's usually around $50 to $60, depending on how bad the demand is. I try to keep it reasonable.
Yeah.
I feel like $50 isn't a bad price point.
No, if I need a cut for like go to my girlfriend's like family dinner. I don't have a girlfriend for the record. So ladies, if you want to cuff me this season, we'll put a little blurb up. You can rent me. Not a prostitute, but hey, I'll make your dad proud.
I co-sign that one.
Marty, you got to do something with that in post.
Right.
I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far.
So also with the membership, I also have you get one emergency appointment per month. So if that's a situation where, let's say, God forbid, somebody passes away, there's a funeral.
I've done that, but even before the membership rolled out, you've worked with me.
And you might not be thinking about it, depending on what the severity of the situation is. And you're like, oh, before I get on the highway, before I get on this flight, I need a haircut.
Dude, I can't make it today. Mm-hmm. This is how my day is going. Like, I want to make it. I apologize. Oh, that's the thing that...
Yeah, I remember seeing it yesterday.
Shout out to Joe Biden.
Did it again.
I'm glad we actually captured that on camera.
And they said it was going to bypass your mute system. The only way you could avoid it is if your phone was off. Yep.
I don't care. It's funny as hell, though. The fact that it just happened live.
Got him again. Yeah. So you get one emergency appointment per month. Obviously that's up to 12 per year. Mm-hmm. You get buddy benefits, so you don't get to just book for yourself. You get an allotment to book for you and a friend.
I forgot about that perk.
It's kind of like Planet Fitness. You get black card.
Damn,
you can bring a buddy.
Wow, no, that's huge. You need to push that more.
So you get
that'd be great for referrals.
Absolutely, bring a friend. So
I'm gonna start doing that.
You also get guaranteed answered phone calls during business hours. Now, typically, anybody knows how I work. Like, I'm dedicated to the client, so I usually don't answer the phone. But if you're a member, I'm going to pick the phone up.
Yeah.
Phone calls usually ain't going to last no more than like 2 to 3 minutes.
They don't need to. But quite frankly,
I'll answer phone calls during. If you have a green check mark beside your name, which you do because you're a member, I'll be answering your phone calls. And all these different membership details that I just listed literally are comprised into one price point. I'm not going to share the price point because it could change over like the next year or two. But
yeah, so inquire with Best Barber 717 Nate Fleming.
Yep, there you go.
Do it. I insist.
So the plan going forward with the membership, I want to get to a point where within 2024, maybe 2025, depending on when I can execute, is to have like a membership appreciation,
like a social almost.
Yeah, like maybe like a mixer. Or maybe like we can go out for bowling or something to that extent, or we can even have like kind of like an adult night where it's like, hey, like let's have fun. You want to bring some dancers?
Nothing wrong with that. I support the industry.
It just depends on what everybody's into. Obviously, I'm working with a different array of different people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, regardless if they're single, they have kids, older, younger.
Right, but I want to make it to where it's like people feel like they're a part of this network. It's not just you're just paying me money and that's it. I want everybody to feel like this is like a club.
I would say too, like patrons of yours, I've added on Snapchat. I've added on Facebook. I ran the one last night. I told Nate, and if you watch this clip, I apologize. I forgot his name, but he looks like a light-skinned Suge Knight. Really nice guy, but he looks really angry and mean. When people, like, I ran into him at Grand Flu's a couple weeks ago, they were like, who the fuck is that, Paul? Like, we got the same barber. And like, they couldn't believe, like, I knew this cat.
We got the same guy.
Oh, just like in terms of this, like, recognition, like, hit me and him just, like, vibing. Mm-hmm. But... Oh, Marty's singing the last call already. Damn. I know we got to get out of here soon, but...
No, you're good. You're good.
Concluding thoughts. I want you to wrap up. I'm going to ask one question, and you're going to add to it. What's the vision for you as a business owner next couple of years? Where you want to be in terms of...
Where I want to be as a business owner, I want to continue to keep building on my own brand, and then from there, I want to have extensions.
Okay.
Not necessarily like a franchise thing because it's hard. Those are hard to maintain. Mm-hmm. But I want it to where it's like I can have a little bit of flexibility where I can trust people's leadership. I got the West York side on lock. At some point, I would like to have like an East York establishment going on where it's not necessarily like a franchise, but it's still overseen by the same unique entity, which would be me. Mm-hmm. Like most people don't know this, but like Red Lobster and what is it called? Olive Garden. They have a parent company.
Correct. I actually knew that.
So I would be, in a sense, the parent company, kind of like manage it.
Where it'd be another barber or salon, but like it's still you.
It's still me, but they feel like they got another option.
It's a different experience. Slightly different experience.
Menu could be somewhat up.
I'm smoking him now.
My bad, Paul.
No, he's good. One of the only people who will get a pass on Schiffbauer Over Rocks.
So, menus would be similar, but there'll be slight differences based on demographic and locations. But
gotcha.
Overall, it'd be still my unique mind.
Cool. No, I appreciate you sharing that. That's the first time I've heard that, even like our one-on-one conversations.
Yep.
But other than that, brother, I appreciate you coming on. I'll see you Friday to clean this shit up.
I got you.
I'm going a little longer right now because I'm being Guy Fieri for Halloween. We're doing a Halloween special to cap off this year. I'm going to look insane. I might have to. You might need to. I'll grow this out a little. You might have to shape something up with this.
You gotta tell him, man. Like, what was it? 3 years ago, you were
Paul Wall.
There we go. It's Paul Wall.
I went to parties. I grabbed
Paul
ass,
Wall, baby.
respectively, on women that I knew they were okay with it. Then I'm like, it's Paul Wall, baby. And like, oh my god.
You had the chain.
You
gotta throw the picture in there too.
Oh, dude, it was
wow, baby.
No. I came with Nate with the idea, and he's super receptive with it. He's like, nah, I'm going to fucking shape you up. And you shaped me up in ways I never thought were possible.
Yeah, we had the whole goatee.
You're going to have to do like just a little, so I'll grow this out a little bit.
All right, bet.
Just for like a round.
Yep.
I'll schedule with you.
I got you.
All right, but other than that, man, it's been fun. I appreciate you coming back on.
Anything else you want to ask?
I know you're an open book. Let's get off anything else you want to get off your chest. Let's wrap this up.
There's something I do want to get off.
Get on that goddamn podium right now. Let's go.
So this is an honorable mention here. So aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs, I would say, like, same thing with the music. Start with a blueprint. Stop telling yourself in your head you don't got to write nothing down. You know what you're doing. Because a lot of times that's not what it is. Once you get in here, there's a lot of people that start businesses, every day, every week, every month. There's been a big influx of people that started businesses during COVID and after COVID with the amount of money that was going around, and now they're non-existent. And that's not by mistake. That's not by, random coincidence. That's by way of people not properly planning. So start to properly plan, or you're going to fail.
And there's free resources out there for you to do so, score or otherwise.
Yep.
Like, people are willing to help you for free. There's no catch either. Like, it's not far-fetched. Like,
and stop buying into the people that are selling seminars and like the self-proclaimed gurus or whatever they got going on. Stop buying into that. I tell folks
to work with us, you need to spend at least $1,000 a month to even consider working with us at this point. We have some clients grandfathered in. I'm in the process of becoming a score mentor because there's a lot of people our age or starting businesses. I can't help them ship our consulting group because it's not an ideal client. But I want to help and refer them to folks, to start their business. Go to Score. It's free.
Or go to Paul because he got the data. The data's there, man. Like
I'll at least have a conversation with you. I appreciate you mentioning that.
And we talk about this. Me and Paul talk outside of, like, this barbershop,
we have a good relationship.
Yeah, it might be 9, 10 o'clock at night when I'm at my best creative point. I'll get on the phone with Paul, and we're building. Like, that's where you got to go with people. Like, you got to learn how to build, and to figure out how do I make these things work. And having somebody like Paul in your corner that you can consult with is definitely a plus. So,
Nate, I really appreciate that, and it's been a lot of fun with you coming back on here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On that note, thanks for checking everything out. If you need a new barber, if someone's been fucking your shit up,
I got you.
At least message my brother Nathan Fleming here. Otherwise, check us out. Give us a like or dislike if you don't like him or don't like me. We're okay. We don't care. Peace.